Give us an intro on yourself.
Hi, my name is Alvaro Quezada, and I was born here in Palmdale, and I also grew up here. And I currently play for Memphis 911.
What do you think about a USL team coming to the AV?
I think a USL team coming to the AV is a great addition to the community. To begin with, like the environment here, there's a lot of great players that come out of here, and I know there's a very strong love and admiration for the sport of football, soccer. So I think it's a great way to kind of also get the community together and help them out.
How do you see the landscape of youth soccer evolving, especially with leagues like USL?
I think the landscape of youth soccer is definitely going to be evolving. I mean, it has already. By the time I was like in high school to the time I'm now out of college and playing a few years pro, it's definitely already evolving. It's like taking a huge leap. Now you see a lot more players playing in high quality teams that before it was very rare to see players from the AV go out to them just because there's a lack of access. But now there seems to be a lot more resources to be able to support these players from the AV into playing for these amazing quality teams.
What advice would you give to young players navigating the competitive and rapidly changing youth soccer environment today?
I think one of the biggest advices I would give to any young player trying to become a pro or anything is just to really want to become a pro. There's a lot of different things that I could say, like, oh, you need to focus on shooting the ball or passing or anything, but none of that really is as important as like having the desire to actually want to become pro. I think if you have the desire, you will end up learning what you need to do better and what you need to do less of, as well as also kind of positioning yourself in a way that is more beneficial for you and your career.
Tell us about your journey of soccer. When did you start playing?
So my journey of soccer, I started off playing AYSO when I was like 6 years old with my dad, who was the coach on the team. And I loved it ever since then. Like when I was there, I just fell in love immediately with the game. And eventually I got the opportunity to go play for a club team. It was called Palmdale Thunder, which unfortunately no longer here. But that's where my parents saw that I was a little talented, I guess you will. So after that, there was an opportunity to go play at a club because I got scouted from them after playing against them in a tournament. This club was ranked very highly in the nation. And the only problem was they were based off in Silmar. So even then, it's not as far as I heard other players travel, but it was still like an obstacle to overcome. After that, I was fortunate enough to get into UC Irvine, where I played 3 years. My last year I couldn't play because of COVID, but from there I got drafted and to LAFC, played there for a year, and then my second year I played with Las Vegas Lights. My third year I was a free agent, and now I am signed with Memphis. So that's my soccer journey so far.
When you started playing soccer at 6 years old in AYSO, how did your dad's role as a coach influence your early experiences?
So my dad's role as a coach did influence me when I was growing up and playing at AYSO, simply because I didn't want to feel like I was getting special treatment from the coach on the team, from other players. And he understood that as well, so he didn't treat me any more special or better than anybody else. He was actually a lot more tougher on me growing up, or on the team. And also just, I would love my dad, and every kid loves their dad. So when you look up to them, I wanted to make them proud and stuff. So I guess that's the way he influenced me.
Moving on to Palmdale Thunder at 8, could you share a specific moment or game that you will always remember?
I think one of the games that I would remember was a game against DMS 11, which is the team I got scouted for from that game. I remember before the game, we were all, as a team, were just very nervous and excited at the same time to play DMS 11, because at that point they were ranked somewhere in the top 5 in the nation for clubs. And so we had the opportunity to play them, and we were all just going for it. and I ended up really doing well that game, but we ended up losing 1-0. And from there, that's when they kind of reached out to my parents and asked if I could go try out with them, which it was kind of difficult because my dad wasn't there. My mom didn't really understand what they were trying to say because they're not from Palmdale, so it was kind of hard to comprehend what they really meant by that. So but at the end of the day, I ended up actually going and trying out for them.
Transitioning to DMS 11, what were some noticeable differences when you were being exposed to other teams outside the AV?
So I still remember this like it was yesterday. The first day that I went to go try out for DMS 11, I showed up there 15 minutes early at least because I wanted to be there early just to kind of get, I was very nervous at that point, so I just wanted to get there early to kind of get my nerves out of the way and know that nothing would go wrong. But when I got there, it was a huge surprise to me that I saw pretty much all the players already there in their cleats, kicking a ball, like warming up, and I was still in my car and I was like, wait, I don't understand. They're here 15 minutes early already. I thought I was late. Yeah, I was like, to my idea before that when I was playing elsewhere, I thought 15 minutes early we were super early. So that was like one of the things. The other thing is just everybody was just a lot more engaged and a lot more disciplined in terms of focus and trying to pay attention to the coaches. So I think that would be like one of the more noticeable differences.
Can you elaborate on a specific drill or training session that made you realize the importance of mindset and work ethic in soccer?
One of the first drills that I was exposed to there at DMS 11 was this essentially a lot of footwork drills that pretty much consisted of you touching the ball in every parts of your foot and kind of doing it at a very high intensity pace. And when I first got there, I had no clue what these terminology meant that the coach was saying, because he would say like soul behind, tabs, toe tabs, like half turn, and I had no idea what any of this meant, and they didn't really transition me in a way to kind of be nice about it. So the first training session, I remember just getting screamed at a lot, and I liked that because it kind of just told me like I need to work at it. So from there on, I pretty much, any chance I could outside of training, I would just try to practice those skill moves and those footwork drills. So then after a few weeks, I actually improved a lot, and after like a few months, I was one of the better players who had learned the footwork stuff. So then that's what kind of instilled in me the idea that outworking anyone is going to help you get the results that you want.
High school brought academic success alongside soccer achievements. How did you manage to excel both on the field and in the classroom? How did your parents contribute to your success?
I think my parents contributed a lot to my success in terms of academics and soccer. In terms of academics, they would always just instill in me that school is very important, so I kind of just treated it like that. I would always try my best in school as well in soccer, and because I felt I had already learned the importance of hard work and dedication, I kind of just applied that to every area of my life and I would not give my 100% in anything I did. So luckily from there, and doing really well in school and high school and having a good GPA, I was able to get a lot of offers from a lot of different schools. But at the end of the day, I ended up committing to UC Irvine.
Your time at UC Irvine involved challenges, particularly dealing with an Achilles injury. Can you describe the emotional and mental journey of overcoming setbacks and injuries during your college career?
There's a lot of obstacles as an athlete that you have to overcome. Luckily, I never had to deal with anything so crazy to kind of put me out for so long, but obviously injuries suck, but at the same time they kind of teach you a lesson and try to make you better and stronger from what you learn from that experience. So I try to just always take every experience as a stepping stone or something that I could benefit from, whether it was, like, for example, an Achilles injury. Obviously that's not ideal, but you looking at the time that you're like out and not playing, I missed playing, and it sucked because I wanted to be on the field, but I knew I couldn't. So now that when I am on the field, I'm giving it my all and kind of just making it seem like this is my last time on the field, because you really never know.
After your time at UCI, you were drafted to LAFC. What was the draft process like?
When I was playing at UCI, after finishing my third year, a few months later, before essentially my fourth year was going to start, we obviously had to deal with COVID. So that kind of brought up a challenge of its own, because now I was deciding whether I should graduate early and try to make the draft, or postpone my graduation and play another year at UCI. But I ended up choosing to graduate a bit early so I could make the draft, which fortunately I was able to make it, and from there got drafted by LAFC. But what a lot of people don't know is that when you get drafted by a club or a team, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are signed with them. You still have to make certain, like they still have to sign you and want to sign you. So especially being like a third round pick, I was going in there with no guarantees. So yeah, I mean, it was just, but it was amazing experience. Got to, experience a lot of amazing things from there.
Joining LAFC came with unexpected challenges, including training with the second team. How did you maintain your work ethic and optimism during this period of uncertainty?
With anything, there's always going to be obstacles and challenges. So training with the second team, it was, it wasn't necessarily anything bad, but you always want to be with the first team. So it was just a little bit hard to try to stay like on top of that. But I mean, overall, it was a great experience.
Tell us a moment at LAFC that you hold special to you.
The moment I hold special is the time that I actually debuted for LAFC, and it was in front of the home stadium. I think when I first realized that I was going in, I felt very nervous, but at the same time, I was just more than anything excited. And when I actually stepped on the field, for a few seconds, everything just felt super blissful. And then it was just okay, start playing and end up doing pretty well, I'd say.
Making your MLS debut must have been a dream come true. Followed by an unfortunate injury, can you share the emotional roller coaster of that period and your mindset during the recovery process?
Yeah, so unfortunately I did get injured a week later after making my debut. But everything happens for a reason, and at first it was very difficult to understand why it had to happen at that time. But as the time goes by, you kind of start to not take everything for granted and try to really understand and take something good out of it. So yeah, just been trying to figure out what the good thing is out of that, and always just be mentally strong, because the moment you kind of give up or are very resentful about something, that's the moment that things start to get even worse.
Leaving Las Vegas Lights was a significant decision. What factors influenced your choice, and how did this decision align with your long-term goals as a player?
Yeah, leaving Las Vegas Lights wasn't easy, but it was just a very difficult situation, because at this point, LAFC was no longer going to be the owner of Las Vegas Lights. Essentially, Vegas Lights was no longer going to be the second team for the first team. So essentially, my long-term goal is to be playing Division I professional soccer. So by not playing with Vegas Lights, then that kind of meant I should go somewhere where I have the possibility of jumping up into a first team or just getting looked at by more clubs. So I ended up making that decision.
Facing challenges in securing offers from USL Championship clubs was a tough period. Can you reflect on the mental toll of being a free agent and the emotions tied to the uncertainty of your soccer career?
Honestly, being a free agent is very difficult, especially after a few months. Even after a few weeks, you already feel like it's very mentally challenging. But at the end of the day, I knew that I was making the right decision, just betting on myself, and I know that everything's going to work out, and luckily at the end everything did. But that's only because I had the faith in myself and had the support from my family to just go out and believe in myself. So I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Your commitment to the 75-day hard challenge and working at Amazon showed incredible resilience. What motivated you to undertake such a demanding challenge, and how did the experience at Amazon impact your perspective on soccer?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a pretty good mindset and very good work ethic. So just doing 75 hard is something that kind of just re-emphasizes that for me. And then working at Amazon, well, obviously that's kind of when I really realized that, playing soccer for a living is the best thing that you could possibly do. I mean, I never took anything for granted playing soccer when I was at LAFC or Vegas. I was always excited to go out to train and everything, as I know some players are sometimes a bit, not as motivated to go out to train, but I was always motivated to go out to train. But now that I have to work like a normal job, it made me realize that that's not what I want to do with my life, and I want to play soccer for a living because it's the best thing.
Finally, signing with Memphis 901 was a triumphant moment. How did you approach the tryout, and what emotions did you experience upon securing the opportunity?
So I mean, it's amazing that it finally ended up happening, and I felt absolutely relieved and just super excited to get on the field and be playing again, because it's been a very long year where things didn't necessarily go my way. But I know that I'm good enough. I know that I have the abilities to perform and make an impact on the team. So I'm just super excited to get started.
As you continue to work hard and be optimistic, what personal lessons or principles have you emerged from your journey so far that you believe will shape your future in soccer and beyond?
I think some of the lessons I've learned this past year have just been to believe in yourself and really double down on yourself. Don't let anybody else kind of dictate how you should feel or what to do with your life when you know what's best for you, and really just outwork people as much as you can to try to get the results you want.
Looking back at your journey, what are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is just not giving up. I feel like a lot of people in my situation would have probably folded, but me not giving up after facing all these challenges and still, succeeding in some way has been really inspiring for myself.
As someone who has achieved success at various levels of soccer, what legacy do you hope to leave for the next generation of soccer players and for your city?
Yeah, the type of legacy I would want to leave is just to essentially inspire everybody to do their best, to follow their dreams, and to not give up. I feel like it's just really important to try to support and give people, especially kids, like stories that, nothing ever really goes your way. Life is going to be very challenging and difficult, but you always have to kind of find the bright side of things and give it your all, and eventually things end up working.